have some fun with this one.
Dang!
Okay.
Chocolate and mocha.
And here.
Oh, yes.
No, here.
Here.
Wash my eyes.
Yes.
Wash my hand. Michelle, can you wave at me? Can you wave at me?
Hi. Welcome back to another edition of the Sophia Duke Radio Show. Happy 2018. I am just so ecstatic to have a very special friend here with us today, and that is my bestie, the one and only, the diva, the Latina diva, the one that will correct you like 1, 2, 3, Michelle Kirby. Michelle Kirby. We is talking about her new book, Turn the Light Back On. Really? I don't know how.
I can tell by the sticky notes you've been studying. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Get your copy. You can get 2 copies for $25. No, 2 copies for $50. I'm trying to get you some extra money. She is gonna smack me when we get done. Michelle, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous. How about you?
I'm doing good. How's your new year? Christmas good?
Christmas was great, but the kids now want money, so it's kind of like I can't even shop for you anymore. You know, teenagers.
Yeah.
So. But it was great. We went to Greenwood and had our little southern meal with my mother-in-law and the family, so everybody's good.
Did you eat with good portion sizes?
I did, only because I'm on a meal plan right now. I hired a fitness coach and I decided to do it during Christmas time. I know. Boring.
Okay, so I forgot to eat healthy for Christmas.
You forgot, okay.
But I did eat healthy for New Year's though. I had a you could see all the styrofoam.
I had my meal prep with me New Year's Day too, but I had snuck in a little black eyed peas too.
Yeah, it was good. You did some cornbread.
I did it. I looked at it. I smelled it.
Oh, girl. Wait, you didn't have no cornbread? You had it, but you didn't have it on your plate.
I had it on my plate. No.
She gonna get her life together after this interview right here.
I will.
You gotta have your cornbread with your peas. Michelle.
Yes.
So many interesting topics about this book, and we've been friends for a couple of years.
I know, it's been a blessing.
And I did not know all this about your life, but I appreciate the book.
Thank you.
I think I appreciate you more just reading it, and it's hard reading the book because I know you. It's like I'm trying to take out, the things we've done together out and just read it as just a total stranger picking up a book. I just want a good read. So we're going to dive into this. I'm going to try not to cry. I'm going to try to laugh more. But we're going to make it through this interview, okay? So starting the book process, what is your writing style like? What's the process like to, do I really want to write it? Do I have the time?
It's really all about dedication and putting your mind to it. And I'm the type of person, when I set a goal, I stick to it. So I had to make a date with myself every day at 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. for a year. And I say I hit that goal 98% of the time because hubby knew and the kids knew and my phone was on silent, and it was just a dedication towards myself and a commitment with God too, because honestly, I cannot write if I'm not filled. So I would go to my prayer room, pray, and then ask the Lord to just download, come on, because I need this to be real, and I need it to be raw, and I need it to be truth. So I said, Lord, if I'm truly healed, if I'm fully healed, this book's gonna be easy for me to write. And honestly, I cried one time.
Really?
And that's huge, because as you've read my book, there's some stuff that when sometimes people read it, they're like, oh, she just smacked you in the face with that. And then I'll laugh about it, and there'll be friends crying, calling me. And I'm like, no, but it's okay. It's like 20 years ago.
So quiet time is just you by yourself writing.
Yes, and
no interruptions.
No interruptions. And honestly, my family was just so good about my commitment to my writing that they just let me be. So even if I'd be at the table, my husband would be on the other side on the laptop working, and the kids would just be kind of quiet. Even if they were in the kitchen making something to eat, there wasn't much conversation because they respected that quiet time. And when I was in the zone, I'd write sometimes from 6 p.m. to midnight. And meals would come and go, and my husband would leave me water and bring me an apple and bring me food, and the kids will bring me a snack, and it wasn't anything like, Mom. It was just like so sacred and so respected that's what allowed the anointing to flow, because if not, you get stuck, you get writer's block, and you're trying too hard. So when you're trying too hard, you need to stop. So my advice is always, if you're trying to write a book, and it's not flowing, just stop. That means you're not ready at that one point. God will give you that moment and tell you out of nowhere, go write. So I wrote for 3 hours one day in my back patio. It was so hot. I never write outside. I never write in the heat. But when you're obedient and when you just feel something, there was a lot going on in the house, so I just stepped out. I wrote for 3 hours.
Wow, just like that.
Yeah.
Did those 3 hours, did it seem like a full 3 hours?
It really didn't. It seemed faster. When I looked up, it was literally 12, and then it was 3:10, and I'm like, are you kidding me? The only reason I know I was writing for a long time was my wrists were hurting. But it just comes so fast when you have that flow that you can't write fast enough.
I guess the passion blocks the time out.
Yeah, it really does. And we all have 24 hours in a day. It's up to you what you dedicate.
It is up to you.
Your 24 hours to.
So does writing energize you, or does it exhaust you?
Oh, it energizes me, because then it just lets me think of, for this book anyway, how many people I can bless with my truth, you know, and it was also helped me see that I did heal, and that the 3-year journey of healing and counseling and mentors and leadership and even therapists helped. It was worth it. You know, you want to make sure you're healed so you can build a strong foundation for your life and keep going. Otherwise, you'll be asked a question and you'll break down, and you don't want that. You want to show people that you can overcome.
Your sweet husband, who I just adore. Hey, Tony!
Me too. We love you.
Yeah, because every time he look at me, that his eye goes up, and I feel like I'm his queen size Hershey bar on the side.
I know he tried to tell me one day. I was like, I don't want to hear it.
And I was
but
just
it's hers,
like,
so it's okay.
Mocha, chocolate, like, hey boo. He always looks like he's out of a GQ photo shoot.
I know.
That boy fine.
I know. We all out of track on this show, but it's all good. We talk about my boo, so.
Okay, I better stop.
Back to the topic.
Okay, yes. Listen, how was the commitment that Tony had? Most husbands won't just allow their wives to have that much time every day to write. Like, how was it really like for you two just to work on that together?
Honestly, the type of relationship we have, he's very, like, one of my family members once said, you'll know that you found your soulmate when it's someone that allows you to fly. Because my uncle was like, Michelle, you're multi-passionate, and whoever wants to clip your wings and tell you to just sit down or stay in the kitchen and cook isn't the one for you, because it's going to create resentment. So you need someone that's going to give you that push, that support, the respect, and it's not even permission. He's like, babe, you never have to ask me, but we have that relationship where I'm like, babe, is it okay with you if I embark on this journey, I'm gonna need this, and that. So I always check with him, and it's just a communication thing. You have to make sure you go to your spouse for some things before you even go to God, because you were united, so you're one, and you can't be like, well, God told me this. I mean, don't do that. You can break up a marriage and a relationship that way, because it sounds condescending, like, I'm going to do what the Lord tells me. And by the way, are you on board? No, you ask, listen, this is what I have in my heart, this is what I would love to do, and I want to kind of fast track my book, is what I said. I want to commit myself 7 o'clock, max 2 hours. He was like, babe, if it's flowing, just keep going. At least I know that's the time you're starting. So anytime before that, and then at bedtime is when we'll regroup, and it just worked out. He's really been a real blessing.
Shout out to the GQ model, Tony Kirby. In summer of 2014, and this was definitely the darkest moment in your life.
It really was.
What advice would you give someone to help them mentally based on what you have been through? Because we all go through a variety of stress, and anxiety, and depression, and everybody is at a different level. But what advice can you give someone who just feels like they're about to have that breaking moment?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, before I sat down to write my book, I spoke to a few people, and I spoke to a few pastor friends and girlfriends, and just a myriad of different people in different walks in their lives. And some of them had already been through what I've been through, and it was kind of scary but enlightening to know that, hey, this has happened before. It's not just me, because at one point you're like in a corner, like, gosh, is this me? Am I losing it? Like, what's going on? So that empowered me even more. And I actually included an interview in the end, at the end of the book, in the appendices, about one of my friends. And the one advice and the one tip that I can give is, let it all go and let it all out. Because if you're living a lie and you're living behind a facade, and you're living behind, like, you're putting like a veil in front of your past, and you're trying to move forward from it, you really can't unless you open it up and say, this is what has happened, and you deal with it. If you don't deal with it and you don't talk about it and you don't go to someone that's hurt you and forgive them, and some of the forgiveness, the best forgiveness sometimes comes with your time with the Lord. It's not necessarily going to that person, because sometimes they're not ready to receive. But if you want your healing and you want to not hold on to stuff that's going to cause you to have a breakdown or a meltdown at one point in your life because you didn't address it, take it to the Lord. And that way you have your healing, that way you have your journey at least on point and set to say, well, now I can handle anything that comes my way because I have a clean heart. You know, and I held on to so much resentment and shame, and I went through battles of anxiety, panic attacks, depression, self-medication, because I wanted to just feel and kind of numb the pain and still feel normal when I didn't. You know, so it's just, that's a nasty web you can get into, and it's not something that you can fix yourself.
How often should a person do a self-evaluation?
I think it's important to do a quarterly check. You know, I'm a girl that sets goals daily. But, you know, that might be a little too much for someone. But to me, it could be, hey, take your vitamins, make your bed, and be extra loving to your family today. It could be the little things that just impact them that I might forget or take for granted. So it's not so much of goal setting every day. But check yourself and read books that help you check into your soul and be the most authentic you. At least quarterly, if you can't do it monthly because it's just too much and you have too much on your plate. Because then you can reevaluate yourself, and you can even journal it and look back and look at your growth. You know, and help someone else. It's not about us. Self-development and growth is about us, obviously, because we want to be the better version of ourselves.
We do.
But in doing that, you contribute to society and people, and you can feed into other people.
You do. And make a difference.
Exactly.
Somewhere. So I know you're a mom of 4. You have some wonderful kids and cute kids. Hey, TJ! I remember him because I couldn't believe how tall he is. I didn't know all this about your mom. I felt like you wrote about your mom so well. I almost felt like I knew her or had seen her before. What advice would you give someone who is a young mom? And I'm asking that. I used to work in education, and we had when I was teaching, there were a couple of students who were young moms, and they just felt like it was the end of the world. And I don't have any children, but I would always say, you know, your child is a blessing. And if God said it for you to have a baby at 15, 16, maybe 14, you will find a way to make it. And I may not know what I'm talking about because I'm not a mom, but He wouldn't put more on you than you can handle. That's one thing that we know. So what advice do you just have to a young mom who just feels like, I don't really know how I'm going to make this work?
That's a good question, because I kind of live both sides of that. My mom had me she was pregnant at 15, had me at 16, so I know the kind of what not to do from an emotional standpoint. And then I had my son Joshua at 28, and I was all in. So I wasn't young, but I can speak as a recipient and just say, there's no mistake ever made when God puts a baby in you and you birth that baby. You could be 14, 15. It's not the end of the world. It's not like your life is over. Your life actually has just begun, because when you learn that unselfish love that you get from that baby, and when you learn how to give in that same manner, it's a blessing. And those kids need you. They need you to love on them. They need you to tell them that they're so important to you. They need you to hug them, kiss them, read with them. And you know, it's not all about with this digital age of just always being on that phone and taking all those photos. Sometimes put the phone down and let them see your face and your eyes and let them see your smile and let them see that you are their priority. You know, those kids, they didn't choose to be born. They were born, and obviously it was their destiny, but it was through you. So be proud of that, and seek women of good counsel, and seek leaders at church, and seek bigger sisters or moms already that have actually made it. Even young moms that are like now in their 20s. Seek higher. Seek higher. Don't talk and gossip and do the wrong thing and go towards the wrong crowd. If you see that there's another young mom doing something, choose higher and choose better, because your life will be so much better as a result.
I think that's really good advice. Thank you so much, Michelle. And speaking of parenthood, motherhood, the abuse you went through as a child, I could relate to some of that. When my parents divorced and my father was dating my half-brother's mom at the time, and some of her ways of discipline, I even questioned if it was abuse, because I had never been disciplined on that level. And what advice would you tell a mom if they're abusing their child, or would you even say something to not, I mean, is it even worth trying to say, you know, probably want to lay back a little bit and, you know, not release that anger on the child?
Most definitely. Like, I'm not very preachy on things that are parenting choices, but there is a line that you shouldn't cross. And, you know, Kelly Clarkson actually came out and said, I spanked my kids one or two times, and, you know, it's my business. I had them. It's how I choose. And there's a difference between a spanking and an overreaction of your anger towards a child. And it leaves scars, and it leaves lasting feelings that the child then grows up to be promiscuous, grows up to either lean towards drugs or lean towards other mother figures, because you just ain't good enough at that moment, because you're making them feel like they're not good enough. So then they look at you like, well, then you're not good enough to be my mom, and they look elsewhere, and that elsewhere can land them in so much trouble because they're just seeking that love. And the one thing that the children need is maternal love. That's the first thing that we crave.
It's love,
you know,
attention from mama.
Exactly. So just be kind and take up kickboxing and just beat a bag up, but treat your kids with love and kindness. And also read books. Gary Chapman has the 5 love languages, and it's fantastic because it'll teach you about you and it'll teach you about your children. My daughter is she's physical touch and words of affirmation. So if I tell her, you have disappointed me completely, and I slap her in the face, I have destroyed her. But yet if I tell her, you know what, I don't think you made a really good choice with that. There's so much more to you, and you have so much going for you. Next time, think of that and think of the consequence before you do it. It comes across differently. And then I hug her and I say, you made a horrible choice, and right now I'm really pissed off at you. But I'm going to hug you because you're my daughter and I love you no matter what you do. It's like God's love, right? We can't earn it. It's just there. So with your children, that's how you should be. Because if you did what led to having that child, then be responsible and carry through. You know, and just don't take out your aggressions on that kid. They're not a punching bag.
I love you too, Arissa. She's so cute. That's your twin. That's your mini-me.
13 going on 31.
Oh, is she 13 now?
She is. Ew. She want a job. I'm like, girl, your makeup bill is becoming my bill.
Slow down,
girl. Slow down, boo.
You briefly talked about forgiveness. Sometimes it's hard to forgive. What's the power behind forgiveness? It is for myself in my relationship with God, but when I forgive, am I to let it go finally?
This is how it works, and this is how I think it works. Because if we are to come to the Lord one day on Judgment Day, and we know all the grace and mercy He's given us and all the forgiveness that He's given us, why should we not give that to someone else? Why should we think we're better than them? And say, well, the Lord forgave me and put all my sins and all my past so deep in the sea that it's non-existent. But I'm gonna tell you about that time you cut me off while we were talking, or I'm gonna tell you about something petty you did, or when you did this at a family reunion, or you said this in front of my husband. Like, why can I not let it go and just let myself know that perhaps they had a bad day, perhaps someone talked down to them that day, perhaps they have never had that model to them, so they just spew whatever they want to. Like, I am not defined by your teachings, and I am not defined by how you were raised and how you choose to use your words. Therefore, my forgiveness is, I'm not defined by what you chose to do to me. So I forgive you because the Lord forgave me. And I love you, but I may not like you, and I may never forget what you did. But because I'm not God and I can't forget, I'm human, and I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican, is a whole nother level of attitude that comes with that. And I've learned to just tone that down and get humble before the Lord, because on Judgment Day, I don't want him to have that long list of, you didn't forgive these people. Why should I forgive when you did this, this, and that? And then I'm going to be like, my bad, you were right. And then I'm no longer in his graces. I cannot compromise that.
Whatever she said is right, because I wasn't going to say it like that. I'm just saying, whatever she said about forgiveness, take notes on that, because I am.
Just rewind it.
Yes, please.
I talk a lot.
Please.
Take the highlights.
That was really good, Michelle. Hey, and we're going to be right back. After, hey, while you're watching it, what you can do, go ahead and buy your book. Get your book. Get your book. Like, for real, for real.
Swiss Frankie on the beat.
Can't even stunt, man, I'm feeling sad. All that bitterness had your boy mad. Wanna strive for it, the Lord is my witness. Lord, please help me with forgiveness. Mama, I forgive you. Pops, I forgive you. Mama, I forgive you. Pops, I forgive you. Can't go off my emotions, they too relentless. Lord, I sinned against you, I need forgiveness. Dear moms, wish I could just hug you. Thankful for my grandparents, would've had it tougher. Still emotionally, a couple things I had to suffer. I know you got addicted, hope you know I still love you. But I ask myself, how can someone not be there for their child? I was waiting on your moms, wishing you would be there for your child. On my birthdays, wishing you would reach out to your child. Handle my sadness in silence, I ain't resort to the loud. Man, that hurt. It's penetrating, had to go through it. It was man of God in the making. Mama, I know you broken. I'm broken too. I forgive you. I wish nothing but the best for you. In bitterness, I refuse to lay. Maybe this year I'll celebrate Mother's Day. Thought it'd get better when I got older. Maybe we could grab something to eat and start all over. Can't even stunt, man, I'm feeling sad. All that bitterness had your boy mad. Wanna strive for it, the Lord is my witness. Lord, please help me with forgiveness. Mama, I forgive you. Pops, I forgive you. Mama, I forgive you. Pops, I forgive you. Can't go off my emotions, they too relentless. Lord, I sinned against you, I need forgiveness. Dear Pops, I wonder if you even care about me. Didn't spend quality time to come to see about me. You missed moments in my life that were pivotal. If you would take the time and be there, would have been instrumental. How to teach me how to be a man, you didn't bother. I had to learn that from my heavenly Father. Didn't teach me to work on the car, fishing at the harbor. It's only by the grace of God I ain't turned into a robber. You wasn't there to teach me how to treat a woman. God bless me, I'm married now and she's a great woman. But Dad, I know you just imperfect like me. All I wanted from you, Dad, is to love me. In unforgiveness, I refuse to lay. Maybe this year I'll start celebrating Father's Day. Man, thought it'd get better when I got older. Maybe we could grab something to eat and start all over. Can't even stunt, man, I'm feeling sad. All that bitterness had your boy mad. Wanna strive for it, the Lord is my witness. Lord, please help me with forgiveness. Mama, I forgive you. Pops, I forgive you. Mama, I forgive you. Pops, I forgive you. Can't go off my emotions, they too relentless. Lord, I sinned against you, I need forgiveness.